Hey guys, it's Gus, and here is my MOD22 Crown of Keldegonn. I think that's how it's pronounced. HR build. It's kind of long, bear with me. Some of this stuff will be kind of controversial as well. But the first thing we're gonna do, because I have consumables on, is we're gonna get everything procced. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. And because the thing is it takes a while to get the stacks up when you're when you don't have a big team to get the greasers. Okay, 9, 8. Oh, that is okay, we're at 10 now. Hopefully we have acute senses up too. Okay. So 88 crit strike, 88 crit severity, 79 combat advantage, and then power is actually going to be 22 higher. Just because we don't have the what's that bonus? Oh, runic ore, aura. But just so you can see what it would look like with the power, is if we put that on, and now you can see power is a little bit higher. So power is undercapped by about 2.5%. Combat advantage is actually really good, and then a crit strike and crit severity are under by about 2%, and accuracy is pretty good at 80%. So 6% in 3 offensive stats and 10% accuracy. So we're missing 16% offensive stats. We could easily cap out almost all these, but we're not going to because that would not benefit this build. So normally in Tom and Zero builds, we're using the Blessed Helm of the Skyblazer. The problem is you can only be with one enemy for that to proc, and you're gonna have multiple enemies throughout the cockfight. Sorry guys, I won't laugh. It's COK. It's COK is the acronym for that trial. Also using the blessed bone, or not the blessed, the regular Bone Devil's ribcage. Uh, there's no comparison for this, guys. There's no second best. I mean, there's no third best. There's this one, and then there's everything else, which is pretty much useless. That's how good this piece is. You can use the grease rose, but there's actually a new item we can get. It's the accuracy helm that we can get in the seal store of the wild. So actually, let me show you. It's not bad at all. The good thing is you have a higher uptime than you will the grease rose. You also have higher item level. It's just the damage isn't as quite as high as grease rose if you have when you have all your procs up. Uh, I know a lot of people are using the precipitation gloves. I'm not. I'm not a fan of them, especially with the HR. We're using MC weapons, which I believe most builds will be using at the beginning while they learn this trial. Um, the other two options are Lionheart, or I think what might be actually the best option. Thank you, Xbox players. Two of them have pointed this out. Are actually the Watcher set. That 15% offensive stats is really, really good. Especially if you're running with the striker build. This is an augment build, which I think is great for learning. I don't think it's optimal, but in order for it to be optimized, you have to have everybody has to be running the tame Velociraptor, and that's just gonna be a pain in the ass. So I think everybody's playing it easy, playing it safe right now. But striker builds, especially if you're using the Watcher set, I mean, it's I know I can't prove it, and I know there's a lot of people that are naysayers on it, but we'll see. It's all good. Just stick with the augment for now, and then of course the same Wasteland Wanderers boots. Using the Vistani set, it's too good not to use, guys, especially for HRs. And let me show you what it does. And again, apologies. This is gonna be a long video because I'm trying to explain everything. So every time you use a damaging AoE that only hits one enemy, the enemy takes 5% more damage from everybody for 5 seconds. It's a debuff. And let me show you. We have a thing called Split Strike, and you're going to see this Troco looking thing on him. Oh, I used aim shot. My bad. There we go. And since I only hit one enemy, you set Troco. Now be very careful about using that Troco. because it's going to be up for 5 seconds, and then when it's down for 5 seconds, you're going to want to cast it again. And it comes up. But if you keep casting while it's up, watch what happens when it comes off. You see there's no Trocadeck debuff. You have like a 10-second cooldown if you mess this up. It's actually longer. So you can't mash it. So I don't do it every 5 seconds. I do it like every 7 or 8 seconds just to make sure I don't mess it up. Because now it's back up. So you want to wait till it's off before you cast again. And you can't tell by looking at the bar up top, especially on console. So just use it like every 5 or 6 seconds. And then so that's why I'm using that set. Of course, I could go music box, demo, whatever, but my goal is for the group to complete, not for me to have, be at the top of the board. If not, the group's that type of group, yeah, of course. Um, the Undead Ring, it works on almost, or I think actually the entire trial for, so when this ring is that good in the new trial. And then, of course, Band of Air, there's nothing in the game that comes close to this. Uh, when you look at the alternatives that give, 5% power, 3% melee, I mean, they're nothing compared to this. These two rings are the rings you're really going to want. And then I took off the 5,000 power stamina shirt and put on the Crota shirt of the dragon. There's a couple of these that give 5% combat advantage, but this is the only one that gives 2 offensive stats. And then I do have the 1500 item level pants, and they give 2 defensive stats. I went with the 100 extra item level to get the 1050 crit severity plus the 1.5% movement speed. They crushed movement speed again this mod, so the more we can get back, the better. The artifacts, I yeah, I know everybody wants to be frozen. Everybody wants to be demo. Assume you're going to be on a debuff. I'm just going to go with the Vanguard, just because not everybody has it. And then we got to use the Troca deck because we're using the Vistani set. And then I just chose the Neverwinter standard and the Demogorgon's Reach for the 1200 item levels. So the tooltip's messed up. It was now when you click over it, it won't say the trousers. In a perfect world, you would probably be running demo here and then the 3 journals right here. Um, they're great on HRs, but I think you want to save those for your fast hitting like TRs or Scourge Warlocks, if you got them in the group. And then overloads on this side, you're going to go all 4 combat advantage plus 1s. Down here, if you're capping all your ratings, then if you want to have a totally, completely best in slot build, it's ridiculously expensive, but you can get these Everfrost reinforcement kits. There's 2 versions. They're exactly the same. They both give you 5 item level each, so these will increase your item level by 5 each, but they give no combined rating. So only good if you're oh, look at this guy. Guess who that is selling them? If you want them, don't buy them at that price. Just PM me. We'll work something out. Oh, okay. So this is gonna be something. See, this build, a lot of people will probably have me go full power, full damage, because I'm very lucky. I've been playing the game since it came out, and I'm a hoarder. So I have what are called the Claw of Bahamut. And as you can see in the Rainforest, they increase your damage by 5% against dragons. So that's really going to help in the last phase of the new trial. And I got one on my feet, I got one in the helmet, one in the chest piece, and then on my gloves I don't have a 4th, so I have crit severity here. So what would you rather have? 880 of a stat or 5% damage? And those do stack. Yeah, they're really good. We'll see. It won't make a big difference, but if you're gonna, they're really gonna help for damage. So even though I'm in a support role, if they want me to go big damage, no problem. Stats. I already showed you the stats when we started the video, and then we're gonna go powers. This is no brainer. Aim shot always. Now, split shot has 2 purposes. When we got the mobs, right, and then when we're activating the Troca deck. And then for our encounters, of course, hindering, of course, constricting, And if you're the only HR in the group, shame on you if you're not using commanding shot. It's too good. Increases the incoming damage to the target by 10% for everybody for 10 seconds. It's like casting an artifact. And also its melee version is, bam, that blue shield right there. Believe it or not, that's a lot of hit points right there that will really save a group when they're in a pinch. So if you're the only HR in the group, you gotta be using it. Now, if you have more than one HR, just coordinate who's going to use it and who's not. Um, I have disruptive shot, except I will very rarely be using it. I'll mostly be using Slasher's Mark. It just hits so strong. Um, and yes, we can use more than disruptive, but I'm sticking with Slasher's Mark. We usually use Seeker's Vengeance and Crushing Roots, but you're not, if you're the only HR, you're going to take off Seeker's Vengeance and you're going to go Aspect of the Pack, because this percent damage, this 10% damage boost you get will not come as close to the group's damage as the 5% CA you give to everybody. And this applies to all 10 members in the queue. It's um it's a really good buff for the group, guys. Um, and as you saw when I showed you the stats at the beginning, I was at 79.9% CA. That's because we're going to get 5% from Aspect to the Pack, and we're going to get 5% from Dritz, so combat advantage is capped. And one more thing about numbers, if your numbers are green, orange, or red, that means you are overcapped and you are wasting stats and your build is not as efficient as it could be. Uh, that was it for powers. Boons, um, you're going to want to use the movement speed boon unless you start dying, then you want to use the revive sickness. In this trial, if anybody's watched on the videos, and I have not done it yet, um, my assumption is will save your life and speed will let you do more damage. Because when you have to go chase the phylactery or chase the mobs or get flung back and you got to get it back up next to it, or you got to get the red miasma circles away, more speed the better. Um, that was okay. Campaign boons. There's only a couple differences. You want to put 5 points right here into undead, and this works on the mobs as well. Thank you, Aster. The 5% damage against undead is basically the entire fight. These two are always weird. I had to use Forte because I do not have enough power in this build. I'm under by about 2%. So this Forte helps me get closer to capping. And then action point. Recharge is great, but really for that, with the AP, you want to have that Slasher's markup every single artifact call. And this one's a no-brainer. This hasn't changed. Bloodlust is the only option up here, really. Companions. I should have made a build with an owlbear, but I'm always been liking the Ico. The owlbear is just as good. You can work around it. I just like it because there's no companion following you, right? Makes the screen less messy. And Ico is not on PC. Well, 99.999% of PC players, anyways. And let me just show you what powers it has. It gives power, accuracy, and crit strike, which you could totally work around for any build if you're using the owlbear. The equipment, just use whatever equipments give you the stats you need for this build. I'm using accuracy, combat advantage, and crit severity, and accuracy. Acute senses has a really high uptime, and then companion bonuses, Wolfgar, Wolfgar and Dritz, they're already skyrocketing, guys. They were Wolfgar was it was under 2 million just like 3 days ago, and it's already up 3.5 million. And then the companion is Dritz. The reason why these are so good is, yeah, 5.5 mil is companions give you 7.5% stats, but when you have two of these equipped, you're getting 9.4%. So you're with these two companions equipped, you're getting about 4% more offensive stats. And then I have Minsk and Bateri slotted, and then Alchemist Experimenter. A lot of people using the cap, but I'm capped on CA with this build, so the cap would not be very useful. And then I think that was it for powers. And then mounts. So we're gonna go ferocity. It helps proc that band of air more. The damage is very minute, like 1% or less of our overall, but the band of air that procs is really good. And tunnel vision, or whatever the group hoster has you do, like swarm or Pegasus or the Eclipse Lion, whatever they want you to wear, you'll wear. If you're hosting, you'll probably wear whatever everybody else doesn't have. The stable. So all the previous builds I did were all skill and aggression, but we're going to use skill aggressions and the stuff that gives power as well. So we got 2 Assassin's Covenants for the extra 6,000 offensive stats, because the first one gives you 1,000 offensive stats times 4, and then the second one gives you 500 offensive stats times 4. So that's going to boost your damage. Your defense goes down a bit. We have 2 Gladiators Guiles. I might actually take out the Artificer's Persuasion and go with an extra Gladiator's Guile. I don't know yet, because the third one will give you 2.5% movement speed. We're going with the gold. Now, the Practical Collar and the Unified Collar are all better now, because if you noticed, the Supportive and the Wayfaring and the Crescent are Sturdy. They all get 500 combined rating, but the Practical and Unified give 1,000 combined rating. So you're getting 5,500 more offensive stats, which is 2,500 total, and 500 more defensive stats with these two. It makes them look better. Which ones you use really don't matter too much, but I prefer, well, most people prefer the encounter power and the crit severity and the movement speed. Mm, just if you want to see, we're going aggression, skill, brutality, aggression, skill, aggression, brutality, dominance, brutality, dominance, aggression, aggression, dominance, aggression. And I didn't cover this on the first page. Apologies. We are a Baranzan renegade. The draw race, you can proc a 5% debuff. And in the Menzo, you can proc a 3% debuff and a 3% damage resistance. So you can be you know, a Geth and get 5% more combat advantage and raise your damage by like 2.5%. Or you can make the group all hit 3% harder. Uh, the downside with is that there's another Menzo in the group. One of you aren't really, it's not going to help too much, and it doesn't help in very much content, 5-man content. But I'm taking one for the team. I don't care. All the 5-man content's really easy right now for me, anyways, just because I've been playing so much. And then I don't think I covered enhancements, did I? We're gonna go three accuracies. We're gonna go 1 crit severity. We're gonna go all defense. We're gonna go forte because we need that power. You're always gonna go with devil's precision. Now, for the second one's tricky. You can go Rage of Flames, which is a 5% damage, or you can go Dragon Slayer. The Dragon Slayer does 10% damage, version 2, 10% damage instead of 5. But the problem is this only works on the dragon. It doesn't work on the minions or the ads, and it doesn't work in the first part when it's undead. So it's up to you. What I'll probably do is go Rage of Flames in the first part, and then when we're doing the grappling, I'll swap over to this. And then we got the old Bile, now called Poisoned, and we got the movement speed, and I already covered the Forte. I think I covered. Oh, so the stats we had at the beginning, how we got those were we're using both the. You can use the ancient ones. Both give 10% reduction and 10% damage against dragons. You can go the recovery for 1500 accuracy, which will improve your stats. But actually, when I do the trial, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use the movement speed. The 15% movement speed is a game changer, and that lets you actually get in more attacks, which I think will improve your damage more than this 1.5% accuracy. And we're still going with the Flask of Potency +1. We're still going with the Sunlord's Gift Elixir. The guild foods are all trash, the thing is they give you an extra, 1400 hit points, which will help your survivability. But um, the Sombricade, what's good about that is it gives you 5% movement speed. Who cares about the 240 stats that the other ones give? What's better, 5% movement speed or 200, 1/4 of 1% of a stat? Yeah, I'm going Sombricade. The old watermelon sorbets, if you don't have those, replace the spike defenders with the precipitation gloves. And then we use the invocation blessing. I would stop on either the crit or the crit severity. And if you want to put some icing on the cake, go with the diamond blessing. All right, that's all we got. Stay classy, Neverwinter. See you soon. If you have any comments to improve this build or any questions, please ask below. This might be version 1. We might come together and make a better build. See y'all soon.